What if I told you that the most famous day in American history wasn't exactly what most people think it was? Every year on July 4th, Americans celebrate Independence Day with fireworks, parades, and patriotic speeches. But what really happened on that historic day in 1776? The truth is more surprising than many people realize. To understand it, we need to travel back nearly 250 years to a time when America wasn't a country at all. In the 1700s, the land that would become the United States was made up of 13 British colonies along the eastern coast of North America. These colonies were ruled by Great Britain and its king, King George III. For many years, the colonists considered themselves loyal British subjects. However, tensions began to grow after Britain imposed new taxes on the colonies. The colonists argued that they had no representatives in the British Parliament and therefore should not be taxed without their consent. This disagreement led to the famous slogan, "No taxation without representation." As frustration grew, protests spread throughout the colonies. Events like the Boston Tea Party angered the British government, which responded with stricter laws and punishments. Instead of calming the situation, these actions pushed the colonies closer to rebellion. By 1775, fighting had already begun between colonial militias and British troops. The colonies were no longer simply protesting, they were at war. Even then, many colonists still hoped for reconciliation with Britain. Complete independence seemed like a radical idea. But over time, opinions changed. Influential writers and leaders argued that the colonies should govern themselves. One of the most powerful voices was Thomas Paine, whose pamphlet Common Sense convinced many people that independence was the best path forward. In June 1776, the Second Continental Congress met in Philadelphia to decide the future of the colonies. A committee was formed to draft a declaration explaining why the colonies wanted independence. The primary author was Thomas Jefferson. He wrote a document that outlined the colonists' complaints against King George III and declared that all people possess certain rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now here's the surprising part. Most people think July 4th was the day America voted for independence. It wasn't. The actual vote for independence took place on July 2nd, 1776. On that day, the delegates officially approved a resolution declaring the colonies free from British rule. In fact, John Adams believed July 2nd would become the nation's most celebrated holiday. So why do Americans celebrate July 4th instead? Because July 4th, 1776, was the day the final wording of the Declaration of Independence was approved by Congress. It was the day the colonies publicly announced their decision to the world. The document explained not only that they were independent, but also why they believed independence was justified. The declaration was then printed and distributed throughout the colonies. Public readings were held in towns and cities. For many people, hearing the declaration read aloud was a powerful and emotional moment. It marked the birth of a new nation founded on principles of freedom and self-government. However, independence was far from guaranteed. The colonies still had to win the war against one of the strongest military powers in the world. The Revolutionary War continued for several more years. Soldiers endured harsh conditions, shortages of supplies, and difficult battles. Under the leadership of George Washington, the Continental Army fought against tremendous odds. Eventually, with help from France and the determination of the colonists, Britain was defeated. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris officially recognized the independence of the United States. Today, the Declaration of Independence remains one of the most important documents in American history. Its words have inspired people around the world who seek freedom, equality, and self-government. While the nation has faced many challenges and struggles since 1776, the Declaration continues to symbolize the ideals upon which the United States was founded. So the next time you see fireworks on July 4th, remember the fascinating truth. America actually voted for independence on July 2nd, but July 4th became the day the world heard the announcement. It wasn't just a declaration. It was the beginning of a bold experiment in freedom that would change history forever. And that is what really happened on the day America declared independence.